Hi, how are you? Oh, Suzanne Todd, my great friend Suzanne Todd. I'm so happy Monday. Happy Monday to Suzanne. Brick Connie, happy Monday to you. Marie 670, Sandra Davis 5872. Sean Davies, hi, how are you? Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday morning. Happy Monday, almost lunchtime on the East Coast. I'm super excited to start off this week that leads into the 4th of July with all of you. It's early for us to do a Sunday paper live, but I wanted to start off my week with somebody who was upbeat, who was inspiring, who was motivating for selfish reasons, but I thought also all of you would like that too. I thought all of you would really love to hear from somebody like Bob Goff. I just kind of felt it in my bones, and I thought, what better way to start the whole week that'll go into the 4th of July? What better way to start that week than talking to Bob Goff, who's got this new book out. It's called Dream Big, Know What You Want, Why You Want It, and What You're Going to Do About It. Think about that. I love the dream big idea. America is a big idea, right? So I thought going into this big idea, celebrating the big idea of the United States, what about our own big ideas? What about what we're dreaming about? How do we make that a reality? How do we go from the dreaming phase to the action phase? So Bob has written a new book about it, and Bob is in the Sunday paper community. He often shares his voice with us, and so I thought, wow, that's really fun. Let's start this great week with a great guy having a great conversation about great big dreams. And I have big dreams, and I hope you guys all have big dreams too. And big dreams can be our dreams, but they don't have to be, quote, big. Like, they don't have to change the world big, but if they change our world, how great is that? How great is that? So I thought, if you don't know Bob, I wanted you to know Bob. And if you do know Bob, then you'll just love listening to Bob. He makes me happy. And I love his idea that we can all be helpful to one another, especially now. And he's already here, even though he's supposed to be, no, he's not. I thought I saw him there. I thought I saw Bob. How is everybody doing while I wait for Bob? How is everybody doing in these kind of unexpected times? Last night at the dinner table, we were all conceding that we're living in times that none of us have really experienced before. Oh, there he is. And so that's kind of hard to know how to manage something you've never had an experience managing before. So I wrote yesterday, like, I didn't see this coming this year. There you are.
Hi.
I love it.
Oh,
You just make me happy.
Oh, it's so good to see you. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Bob. How are you? You dreamer, you?
Yeah, we're just enjoying kind of a misty day and then dreaming big. We're just thinking about not the things that are the limitations, but the things that might be possible. This isn't just a bunch of happy talk, but as we roll into a whole week, you have so many weeks in you, and I have so many weeks in me. We just don't know the number, and so we can either be afraid of that, or we could lean into it to say, I'm not going to waste another perfectly good week being wrapped around the axle with some of the stuff behind me, nor being unclear about some of the stuff in front of me. So I'm just so glad we're talking. This is great.
Well, I said before you came on that I wanted to start this week because this is a week that leads into the 4th of July, which is such, celebrating our country, which was the ultimate big idea, the ultimate dream big idea, to dream up this idea of the United States of America. And you've got this great new book out called Dream Big, which I love. Know what you want, why you want it, and what you're going to do about it. And I thought this would be a great way to start our week, is talking about our own big dreams, right? We don't have to dream up something like the United States of America, but we all have big dreams in us. And I think so many of us, I loved what you wrote in the Sunday paper yesterday about the Wright brothers, and kind of, you talked about the moment before liftoff, and so many of us are stuck in the moment before liftoff, and we have these dreams, but we don't actually activate them. So how would you kind of suggest to people to begin to activate their big dreams?
Yeah, I think we could start with kind of small, medium, and large. You could have
Okay.
dreams for people that are around you, that you could kind of actually love your neighbor. And I've got one over here. I've got one over here. I've got one over here. This one over here is a little bit more difficult to love. He's been remodeling his house for 10 years. It's like the Winchester house. I'm not going to say his name, but I'm like, dang, buddy. But what I want to do is just be patient in this, to, instead of thinking that is an annoyance, I've gotten to know his workers. They've all grown old together. One of the things that we could do is as simple as walking across the street, ask a neighbor, give them a call, say, really, really, how you doing? Wash their car, do the rims. You could have a medium-sized dream that doesn't seem like a big deal for somebody else, but it's a big deal for you. We got a flagpole over here, and after all of these years, the rope that pulls the flag up, it broke. How could I have a broken flagpole as we roll up on the 4th of July? And so I've got two choices to make. I could either not fly a flag, or I could figure out how to get up a 30-foot flagpole. You know what I got? 40-foot ladder. And so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. And just like the Wright brothers, just like you, just like me, we have dreams and ambitions, and we don't know how they're going to turn out. But I don't want the uncertainty to scare us off. I want to remember why I started, why that would be important enough for me to accomplish. And so finding something that's actually worth the risk. I'll let you know how that turns out. If you see me in a body cast, you'll know it didn't turn out well.
But Bob, I think the thing that strikes me always, a lot of people here saying, I love what Bob writes. I love the way he lives his life. And I have to concur with that. I thought one of the first things when we met, you just have that kind of presence, I guess, where you bring joy to the other person. I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but the minute you pop into my space, I feel joyful. The minute I know you're going to be in the Sunday paper, I feel better about what we're putting out into the world. Have you always been like that, or was there something that happened with you that you thought, I want to be like that?
You know what? I think a pivotal moment, I don't have it circled on the calendar, but it was the day that I realized I'm not my dad. I'm not my mom. I'm me.
Wow.
Although I'm a lawyer by training, I ain't Perry Mason.
Yeah.
I'm actually a really happy guy. And maybe he was a happy guy too. But here's the underlying principle. God never compares what he creates. And he made one of you.
Pause. Say that again, because that's so big. First of all, it's so big, I think, for any man to say, I'm not my dad, or any woman to say, I'm not my mom, and not in a negative way, but just then that you have the freedom to be who you are, right? But what you're saying is, don't compare what he creates.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Whole idea, remember when you were in elementary school, the teacher would say, keep your eyes on your own paper? What a great admonition for us. Keep your eyes on your own paper. What God has for you, whether faith is a big deal for you or you're like none of the above, like still keep your eyes on your own paper. And not telling people what to do, but reminding them of who they are. So it would be the difference. It always breaks down when me giving a sports analogy, because I'm not a sports guy. But it would be the difference between being an umpire and being a base coach. Like umpires are calling balls and strikes on everybody. Base coaches are just saying run as fast as you can. And if you want to steal the base, I mean, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know if the flagpole thing will work or not, but I'm going to fail trying. I'm not going to fail watching anymore. And that is a pivotal concept.
So I love that. I'm going to fail trying. I'm not going to fail watching. So for those who are watching the arena, who are watching the person try to fix the flagpole, because they're maybe more comfortable in the watching phase, but secretly they want to get into the trying phase. Really, that's what this book is really about in a way, is how do you help people get into the trying phase, get out of the watching space?
Yes, I think my hope it would be a reminder. It would be a nudge. It wouldn't be pointing a bony finger at somebody, but to just say like, "Hey, remember what you were thinking about when you were 8? Remember you and I were building rocket ships out of cardboard boxes, and we were saying this thing is going to take us to the moon." Somebody wanted to be helpful, but they said it's just a cardboard box. They didn't mean to be negative. They just are still working on their people skills. We just need to remind people to get out your cardboard box. You can pick something small, like loving your neighbor. You can pick something medium, like trying to thread a flagpole 30 or 40 feet up. Or you can pick something large. We do a lot of things overseas. Young girls who are denied the right to learn or to get an education, that caps me. One thing that I've noticed is that if God wants to get something done, sometimes he'll use men. He always uses women. You know that's true. Uganda.
But what people I think is so fascinating about you is kind of in midlife, you switch careers so dramatically, right? I mean, I find that so inspiring because so many people start off thinking, oh, I'm going to do this one thing. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to just stick with that. And now you're writing kind of inspiration books. You're building schools. You're, kind of not a preacher, but you're a missionary of what I say, of joy, of possibility, that's a rocket ship that can go to the moon.
Yeah. What if we each tap into that? And we're each like wired differently. On the Enneagram, I'm like a flaming 7. I'm like the enthusiast, if you haven't picked up on that, people that haven't met me before. But what I want to do is have what I do laden with purpose. So while I'm capable of being a trial lawyer and was one for 30 years, I don't feel like that's my calling. I don't feel like, not a call. Every time I out and blip back in on this Instagram live, it's because someone has phoned me. I put my cell phone number in the back of 2 million books. And so about every 20 or 30 seconds, I get another phone call, and I don't send people to voicemail.
I know, that's the thing that struck me. Bob said that when he started writing these books, he put his real phone number and told people to call him, and he actually picks up the phone when you call him. And you do that, why, Bob? To be helpful? I know you talk a lot about being helpful, but you do that so that people feel seen, feel understood, feel valued. Why?
Just something about that. I've called you before, and you know what you said? Hello. And I felt great. And so when I answer, you could fix something with one word, just hello, like just from a kind voice that's saying, man, I don't have all day, but we can't control some of the things around us, but we can control how available we are. And again, figure out how you're wired. Sweet Maria Goff is not wired like that. She's like not taking calls, like 0, and that's rounding up. But one of the things that we'll know is that if you're wired for availability, if you're willing to be available to the people around you, then we don't need to say we're this worldwide family of friends. We can actually be a friend. And a friend, for me, answers a call. When I call somebody, I always hope they'll answer. And I think we can just, in small, medium, and large ways, we can say, what's a beautiful ambition? What's something taking a genuine interest in the welfare of somebody else? Beautiful ambition. To just say, I'm going to actually be more interested in your stuff than my stuff.
So Bob, so many people, I love the idea that you were like a lawyer for 30 years, and then you say, you know what, this is not my calling. This is just not my calling, and I'm switching. So many people want to be in their calling. They want to know their mission and their purpose, but they're struggling to find it. How did you know this is not my calling and this is my calling?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we do is pivot a little bit more towards character and less on career. So, for instance, like while I've got a bunch of file full of drawers that say I'm licensed to practice law at different places, I'm capable of it. But just the character things I want to create in myself, they were consistent with that. I'm not trying to win arguments anymore. And you'd know if we were arguing because probably not against you, but anybody else. But that idea of to just say, I want to develop a legacy of availability to my family. I have a grandson now. I've wanted a grandkid since I was in junior high school. I hadn't even gone out on a date till I was in law school. But one of the things that's so beautiful about that I'm learning from him, he's learned one word. And you know what the word is? Apple.
What?
So it's awesome. So I'm an apple. Maria is an apple. Everything's an apple. Every time he says apple, I just delight. I feel like my face is going to rip in half. And here's the thing. Every time we inch towards some meaningful, beautiful ambition of ourselves, something that is lasting, I think heaven leans over the rails and just grins. They go like,
So, Bob, how did though, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I also want to develop, I love that, a legacy of availability. I want to bring delight. I want to make life better for people. But how do I make a living at that? So many people, you know, every conversation I have, except for this one, people are like, I'm struggling, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I don't know where my next dollar's coming from, I don't know what the future holds, I, you know, lost my job, I can't get my income. I'm like, you know, and here you are delighting in Apple, delighting in being available. And how do you bring your calling, that delight, and put food on the table?
yeah, they're super practical things. Sweet Maria and I, we shared a 2001 Suburban for about like 10 or 15 years. It's awesome. It's got a layer of Cheetos in the bottom. It's just nasty. One of the things you can do is just really practical things. Like, so I just didn't have a car I wasn't trying to go green. I was trying to be available to my wife. I wanted us to have more things in common. And so we just had this thrashed car. We just like kept it. It was awesome. And so I'm not talking like old news. I'm talking like, you know, like Cheetos today. We still got it. Well, one of the things that you can do is think in practical ways about the words that you speak. I'm really picky about the things that I have to say to people. I don't, I like kind of put it in pause there for a moment. You know, in a cartoon, there might be a thought bubble where it has all thoughts. I'm really picky about what I let out of my thought bubble. And I think you can, by being picky about the words that you use. There was a woman who called from the back of the book, and she said, I've got the book from a friend. I'm going in for an operation. I have this brain tumor. And when they go in to get the tumor, they take out the part of my brain that lets me speak. And I was like, oh, honey, like, what are you saying to your friends? And she said, I'm being really picky about what I say. Isn't that beautiful? If I only had 4 or 5 days to speak, I'd be like, you can't even shut me up now. But that idea to be a little bit pickier, slow it down, words of affirmation. I'm not just saying blowing sunshine at each other, but to just be very thoughtful about to say, I see this. I see joy and thoughtfulness. I see wisdom in you, Maria. This isn't blowing sunshine at you. I'm telling you what I've seen in you in the years that I've known you. And so I think when we start speaking to people, speak truth over them, it would actually beg the question about what's the corollary. What are the things that people have spoken over you that just aren't true? Like you.
How do you make a living at that, Bob? You've gone and written this book. It's already a bestseller. You've kind of crafted this new career. How do you help somebody who might have that dream, like they're in a profession where they're sitting there going like, I'm not in my calling. I want to speak words of affirmation over people. I want to be building a legacy of availability, but I don't know how to have that bring in income from my family. Are you saying that they should just simplify or what?
Like start. Like literally, there's something beautiful about putting a flag in the sand and saying, I'm not waiting for permission to pursue this. I know I got a friend. So work wherever you have an opportunity. And then to say, I'm going to try to improve my position, both economically, but I'm telling you, for the people, this is an intervention. For the people that married you, loved you, surround you, they are not interested in your finances. Maria would have married an ATM machine if she wanted the cash. She actually wants me. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And people want you. They want, and so do honorable things, bag groceries, get a paper route, do whatever you need to do. But I'm telling you, the gift that you bring the world, the gift that you bring to me, the gift that you bring to Maria is sweet, old, lovable you with all of your picadillos, all of your worries and your fears. But I'd keep a couple things in the thought bubble. Some of the negative self-speak about, well, I'm just pinned in and I have no options. I'm like, actually, I'd like to spend 15 minutes with you and challenge that. I'm not going to raise my voice. I only raise my voice when I'm yodeling, and I've never yodeled. But I want to say, where did that come from? Was this a parent? Are you channeling a teacher that said something, an old boyfriend or girlfriend? I don't know where it is, but let's figure out the return address of some of that so we can actually start moving forward in humble, thoughtful, meaningful ways.
So that is so beautiful. I love. I got goosebumps when you said about your sweet Maria, which is his wife, that she wanted me. I think that that's such a powerful concept to land for anybody, right? That somebody else wants you. They don't want your car, your money, but they want you. And from that place, right, you can kind of dream anything because you have somebody who believes in you. What did you want, Bob, with this book? What did you want people to feel after they read it or while they were reading it?
Yeah, I would say if there were four things that came to mind that we have in common, there's probably many more than that. But I think of these things: love, purpose, connection, and a couple authentic relationships. A couple people that you can keep it super real with. Doesn't matter what it looks like. They don't like you because you're popular. You're not doing it for the applause. Because if you want applause for what you're doing, join the circus. But if you actually want a meaningful life, you'll just say, I'm going to actually pursue love. Not like Hallmark love, but just actually do selfless acts of love for people across the street, to the people that are working. Take a genuine interest in them. For those where faith is an important thing to them, there's a guy, Paul, that talked about his buddy Timothy. He said, that guy Timothy takes a genuine interest in everybody. And so what if we do that in small and big ways? The people that deliver your paper, the people that bag your groceries. One of the things that I do, I have medals. And you can get 1,000 of these
You
things.
what? You what?
Medals. Yeah. So all my friends, they look like the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They jingle when they walk. But carry around some medals. Just give a medal to somebody. Beautiful and heroic what you did. Something as nominal as checking you out at the grocery store. That kind of thing, that kind of an expression of love, it isn't being sappy, it's being authentic. And
So is the point of this book, dream big, know what you want, why you want it, and what you're going to do about it? That sounds in many ways like a motivation book. Like, here are your dreams, know why you want them, and here's a path to get to them. But what you're saying is really you're wanting people to feel these qualities in themselves.
Yes.
First and foremost, right?
If you could make it work, sometimes the most difficult testing ground for an idea is at home, right? Because you just go like, I know everything about me. What a great place to start. And then just draw a little bit bigger circle and then even find some people that are difficult. Here's the crazy part.
Yeah.
You're them. Everybody listening, you are not as lovely as you think you are sometimes. And so if we just approach this with a little bit of humility to just say, I know I have good days and bad days, and I'm not trying to keep score on myself or anybody else, but I'm going to show up. Like when you started out this moment together, to just say, here we are. It's Monday. Let's lean into this.
Yeah.
not just kind of with a general sense of I'm happy, you're happy, it's swell, but to say, hey, what's your plan? I woke up several hours ago. I wrote down my plan. I'm not saying make lists. I'm saying find purposeful, meaningful activities and move towards them. To say, who's hurting? Who's somebody I can actually help? I don't start with my list like, I need a tire for the car. I need a whatever. But to just say, what's something I can do? And then to give away love. We're rivers, we're not reservoirs. We're not trying to save this up like we're going to run out of it. It's crazy. You just start getting outside yourself and loving people. And the weird part is you're going to find a way back to your own ambitions.
You're going to find a way back to your own ambitions by giving away love.
Isn't it crazy? Don't you want to go get a cardboard box? I think we should. I just think, like, come on, let's do this.
That's a very powerful idea, though. It's a pause, right? That's it. That you will get to. So if you're struggling with your ambition, if you're struggling with your dream big right now, if you're struggling with your anxiety, your mental health, you're like, I don't know about this whole year. I think to summarize, what you're saying is start giving away what you have, and it will lead you to your actual calling, to your dream big, to your ambition. That's a powerful idea.
It's this kind of a reverse economy. Like you want to lead, follow. You want to be first, be last. It's kind of taking cuts to the end of the line. And so whatever your faith tradition or experience in, to just kind of flip it and to say, I know you used to think this, but what if we do this? So it's kind of like carving a new little groove in your brain where you say, I can't do this. This opportunity isn't available to me. Oh, it's easy for you. Your eyes are not on your own paper. You're watching somebody else. Stop it. What I want you to do is to say, what are the things that are available to me? I got a bunch of neighbors. I got some opportunities. That job that you didn't interview for because you were afraid that you were going to get told no, I would just go down that hole and say, what's the return address on that? Like, where did that come from that you think I'm not going to try because I might get a no? Like, are we actually going to give people the empowerment to like knock out something that's been a dream or ambition? Are you going to say this nonsense like God closed the door? Rip that door off the hinges. It's an ambition that you've had for the longest time. I mean, let's do this thing.
That is so beautifully said. I think we don't hear, my brother Bobby said to me last week, I think you should do a whole issue at the Sunday paper on the importance of being followers. We're all told all the time, be a leader, develop the voice of a leader. But what about being a follower? Is that such a bad thing? And you were just saying, you just brought that up, right? Go to the end of the line, give away what you have, and that will lead you to your ambition. Be humble enough to be the follower, and it might lead you to your leadership capabilities. So you're saying kind of reverse engineer all of this stuff.
Totally flip it. If the way you've been doing it isn't working for you, then flip it and say, so I teach up close to you at Pepperdine Law School. I've been teaching there for a decade. Can you imagine teaching at a top tier law school? I'm like, everybody passes the bar. But I also teach at San Quentin Penitentiary. And so I have many more students at my San Quentin class. And we just get really real about what's going on and why and some of the setbacks that they've incurred. And I don't go as the teacher. I go as the student. I mean, like, teach me. Let me know what's going on. There's a young man that got out. He's been in there for his entire adult life, has never held a cell phone. And I was his first call. He said, Bob, I'm on the other side of the wall. I'm like, buddy, tell me there's not a bunch of bed sheets tied together. He said, no, it's like legit. I just got released. And I said, what's your first thought? And I was waiting for him to say something big and awesome. And you know what he said? I've got, like, what the heck?
I've got what? You went out. What did he say? I've got what?
I've got pockets, because you're not allowed to have pockets in San Quentin. because you put the wrong things in those pockets. And so in a moment of clarity, I said, be really careful about what you put in your pockets. And I would say that to our listeners, to be really picky about what you're carrying with you. Some old untruths. Maybe it was true about you before, but it ain't true about you now. Maybe some things that if you felt some affirmation, if you felt a connectedness as you listened to Maria in these things, I would put that in your pocket, hang on to it.
I love that. You have so many nuggets of wisdom. I wrote in the Sunday paper this Sunday about letting the humble part of us lead us forward, not the arrogant part of us that wants to teach, that wants to direct, that wants to tell everybody. And you're really saying, let the student, let the follower, the humble, they're different words for the same part of ourselves, the I don't know part, lead us forward into this week. And while celebrations on this 4th of July will be so different than they have been in the past, there's so much all of us can learn. If we went into the 4th with empty pockets,
Yes.
How do we come out?
I'm telling you, if we create a little bit of space, if we say I'm going to move to the side some of the old habits and some of the old things that have gotten me off track, going to create a little space, you'll just let beautiful things will find themselves their way to you. And I think, are there going to be some setbacks along the way? Of course there will. I was driving a piece of equipment underneath an oak tree a couple days ago, and I hit the oak tree way out in the hills by Julian. I hit the oak tree, 10,000 bees fell down out of a hive on top of the cab. That was a moment. One of the things that I did, there was a door on this thing. I shut the door, and then the bees went nuts on the outside, but they weren't going nuts on the inside. You guys, shut the door. You've got some people that are kind of toxic. They're not good for you to be around. Create a little space. You don't need to call them names. Just create a little space. Shut the door. You've had some negative self-talk. It's been stuff dogging you. God has never looked in the mirror and wished he saw somebody else. He wants to see you. Shut the door to some of that stuff. As soon as we do that, it's just another version of being really picky about what you put in your pockets.
I love that. This is such a beautiful way to start this very important week where we're going to celebrate our country. And I know everybody's saying, this is wrong with our country, and this is wrong with our country. And yet it is the place that everybody wants to live. It is the beacon of hope that everybody wants to come to. So may we not forget that, that we kind of put that in our pocket as well, that we live in this beautiful country where we're free enough to voice our opinions, fight for the change we want to bring about, and that we go into this week thinking about its greatness, yes, what also needs to change, but also what we as individuals, as Bob has been saying, what we can put in our pockets, what we can put out into the world, how we can be followers and not just leaders, and how that reverse psychology might lead us to what we've always looked for, which is our calling, right? Which is why we're all here.
Bingo, preach.
I love that. Bob, I'd love for us to be able to do more of these on Monday mornings. It's such a great way. There's been so many comments here. What a great way to start my week. What a great way. Please post this. We will post this on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Instagram TV or whatever that's called. But I think what Bob has said, so many powerful things here, so many, as they say in journalism, headlines, so many lessons here to kind of wrap your week, wrap your life around. And yes, I love when somebody said, I will follow and I will also lead when appropriate, knowing the difference.
Bingo.
Last words to you, my friend. Last words. The book is called Dream Big. You can get it now. It's already a bestseller. Final words for the week, Bob.
Well, you know what might happen if you put to the side some of the things that you've seen as impediments, and you actually test them, and you say, is that an actual impediment, or is that just a perceived impediment? And so just take a week and write down these things. Write down, these are the perceived impediments between me and getting that job, or me and getting that date, or me and whatever it is. And then just with a lot of humility to just say, hey, what's the truth? I'm going to rewrite over that. Did you know this, Maria, that the eraser was invented 200 years after the pencil? Is that crazy? But people, the eraser is here. Let's use it. Let's erase some of the things that just aren't true anymore.
Wow.
And let's write a new story about who you are with that job you wanted.
There we go. Erase that story from yesterday, from last year, from your whole life, and start rewriting today. There's a pencil with an eraser on it on everybody's desk. So, Bob, thank you. I hope we will do this again. I mean that. I mean that. I mean
Let's
that.
do it.
Let's do that. God bless you. Thank you, Bob. And the book is called Dream Big, and it's removed. I want to thank the book. Get the book. Bob is so infectious, but there were so many really wise lessons in that conversations, at least for me. I took away a lot of really great lessons to go into this week, right? And his piece is in the Sunday paper. If you don't get the Sunday paper, please subscribe. It's free. It comes to your inbox every Sunday morning, and it's there to inspire your heart and mind, to inform you and help you become an architect of change, help you into your calling, into your mission, into the life really that God designed for you. So I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you have a week in which you can fill your pockets up with love, with inspiration. And I hope you find that this is a week where you learn a lot. And I'm going to go into this week as a follower with empty pockets, and I'm going to just hand out love where I go. And I hope I get it back. I hope I get it back. No, I shouldn't even think that. No, that erase. I'm just going to go, and I'm just going to see what happens. So thank you all. Thank you for saying we love the Sunday paper. A. Emmerich 777, thank you for saying this is a great way to start the week. Doe knows, definitely lessons. Thank you for being here, all of you. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy early 4th of July. Dream big, dream big. You're here to do that. God bless you. Have a great day.